guys, thanks for tuning in to this segment with Alberto here. You guys asked a lot of questions on the video, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, I kind of wanted to open the table up and introduce you guys to Alberto, for any of you guys that don't know him. Give us your story, I guess. Give us maybe some of your credentials in case people don't know you, or yeah.
Okay. So I think just like everyone else, I was introduced to the fitness world, and I'm gonna call it the fitness world, even though I don't necessarily like that word, because I guess the model that the fitness world sells to you is that you're ugly, there's something wrong with you, we can help you. So it definitely started that way as a teenager, but almost right away overnight it evolved into something a little deeper than that, and got hooked, and I've kind of been in love with training and eating right since 1999.
How old are you?
I am 31 now, and I started when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
So
when you started, were you like super serious at first, or was it kind of like sporadic, like go with your friends to the gym kind of stuff?
It was more so. I had a really good bicep, I guess, according to my friends. So like, you need to work that thing out.
Father flex.
So yeah, so we would go to the gym, and it was more so just to hang out with my buddies. But I was the only one that ended up sticking to it. So I really enjoyed it a lot.
Sweet.
And yeah, it wasn't serious. But within a month, we were like, this is. I knew she was the one. The weight training.
Right on. So, like, how did you get into coaching and like taking that step in that direction?
Okay, so that's quite funny. So I've always felt that I've been a good responder to weight training. However, I mean, not as good as some guys where they just somehow it just happens. I still had to do my fair share of research, and then it got to the point where things were starting to work. And, people would come and ask me questions about things, and I didn't know the answers to a lot of them. So that kind of bugged me because I didn't want to give away bad advice. Mm-hmm. And then, over the years, just a lot of it was very self-taught. But I think it was more so I wanted to get it right, especially, once you look a certain way, people are going to come to you and ask you for advice. And I wanted to make sure that I was dispensing the right advice. And then from there, it just kind of, took off in a very organic fashion from just being the guy at the gym that, do this, do that, to, the guy on the YouTubes with the do this, do that.
Okay. And you kind of started in like the bodybuilding forums, right? And
yes.
Kind of how the journey started, I guess.
So yeah, a long time ago, before we had, it seems like nowadays we can go to almost any gym in the country, and we can kind of network with our people, and you have a workout buddy there. Whereas a few years ago it wasn't that way. Mm-hmm. And the first guy that I met that was a fellow natural bodybuilder that was relatively close to me was Eric Helms, and that was 120 miles. We were 120 miles away from each other, so we met on the forums, and that was our little community where we dispense information, our support group, so to speak. But it's evolved to something far greater since then. It's I mean, you know how it is at our gym. You can walk in there any given day, and everyone knows everyone, and we're all on the same mission, more or less.
Yeah. So is that how like 3DMJ kind of started? I guess from the roots.
So it's funny. So with 3D Muscle Journey, I think, and this kind of gives you an idea as to where natural bodybuilding was just like in 2007, 2008. What we wanted to do is we wanted to be reporters. That was our main gig. We wanted to be reporters in terms of what was going on with shows, and just getting that stuff out there. And then also we wanted to dispense information, but natural bodybuilding just wasn't ready for that at the time. I remember we would go cover a show in Washington. Like, we would travel a few states, and the promoters, they basically were like, we really don't appreciate that. And it wasn't their fault. They just really did understand that there was an audience out there that was ready for this. And a quarterly magazine that covered the shows just wasn't enough in today's information age. So,
what do you mean they weren't really ready?
Well, I guess a big thing was like, hey, you guys are taking pictures and covering this stuff. This is going to go on our magazine. Yeah. You guys are getting a bit ahead of yourselves. Okay. So there was a little conflict there, but they didn't know that there was, these masses out there that they weren't being fed. Yeah. So when that didn't work out, we weren't, and again, these people didn't know at the time. We started to focus more so on just dispensing good information and with information that wasn't just folklore or something we heard from the biggest guy at our gym. Just what we thought at the time was good information, science-based information. And after you do that long enough, people are like, so can you help me out on a person-to-person basis? Yeah. And from that point on, it just kind of took off. So 3D Muscle Journey initially was supposed to be like an online magazine to put natural bodybuilding, give it a platform, but it didn't work out. So here we are today.